phenomenal game that we had, and now we're going into the second game. Can we repeat our, I don't know if it's like good or bad circle luck. I would say good for us, bad for the players, but we'll have to see. I mean, Sonic's... It's ridiculous the lead that they've started to kind of take hold. This is definitely looking almost like last Grand Finals, you know, with ST. Well, I would say that the group stages of this actually PCS2, which is when, you know, STK definitely ran away with it. But I also want to agree with Hypoc when he was asked the question, like, you know, what would you do? You can't let a single team dictate how you play, and that's exactly what I feel like some of these teams have been doing, especially on the bottom. And that team is, you know, Sonics and STK and Oath, like the top three teams. Like you can't, I don't know, you just can't have that mentality going into a Grand Finals because it will ruin you.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, kind of bringing that conversation back to the end game that we did see with Comets, right? Yaxley not taking that opportunity in the end, allowing Sonics to kind of take control of the situation, ultimately allowing Sonics the win. I mean, no doubt it was still a good match for Comets, who did get a lot of necessary points that they really needed to throw them up a little bit higher on the leaderboard right now, sitting in 10th place. But, you know, sometimes it is that fear, right? That the teams that are up at the top can sometimes make such a thunderous presence that the teams that are struggling near the bottom of the leaderboard will start to play a little bit too cautious when they get close.
Well, it's also just hesitation. If you start to have a good day and you start to catch up, then you don't want to lose, you know, that momentum, and so sometimes these guys will change the way that they play. I mean, I've been there, I understand that, but yeah, you gotta keep confident. You gotta keep playing your game, unless whatever your game is or your strategy just isn't working. But even still, yeah, just never let another team dictate the way you play. And as far as this circle goes, I mean, it's pretty standard for us. We see a lot of these south circles. This one's more centralized, so we should be seeing a lot of wide rotations, honestly, on the east and west edge of this map.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 8 teams already in this first circle as it has popped, but plenty of teams out to the north and northeast that we'll need to worry about rotating in pretty early on. Sonic's taking out their normal drop spot of Picado. They'll have plenty of time to loot and then move on to their next location. I think that the teams that we're looking for good performance when we see a circle pop like this is, you know, Houston Hardships, Radiance. Some of the teams that tend to drop further west are going to have an easier time taking some early dominance for position and maybe kind of show us, hey, you've been struggling just a bit in the Grand Finals. This is your time to shine.
Oh, no.
Oh, speaking of time to shine, there you go. Chuba and Maluk taking out Melon.
That's unlucky. You hate to see it, but ATC still very much a threat, even with just 3, even with just 2, even just 1. I mean, we've seen players like, you know, Aguila. Well, I want to say specifically Aguila, but also Marslick. I mean, they are some pretty sneaky snakes, and we've seen them get quite a few points from a solo position, but they have themselves San Martin. You know, they're going to loot on the west side here, and they should have a fairly decent rotation, but depending on how early they go into the circle, if they want to cap up on the north side or if they want to kind of wrap wide west and come in from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and, you know, speaking of kind of that position, right, when we saw the map before it closed out, almost all of the teams were up to the north and northeast. And so for their position out to the west, to have all of that area for an easy rotation through the end of this first phase, gives them a lot of ample opportunity for where they could set up going next. Of course, you know, that comes of when are they going to be able to pull off that transition? If they wait too long, they're going to lose out on opportunities. Out to the north is usually Illusion and Carnage in that same zone. But I mean, that said, Oath, I think, also is a team that's, I mean, obviously, really great display, you know, from Snakers and Pat Caps last match. But again, kind of haven't seen them quite at their full potential. Still in 3rd place right now with 108 points. But there's so much more that we could see coming out from them. And I really want to see them pop off today.
Yeah, Oath is not playing bad by any stretch of the imagination. But there's definitely... They could have more points. That's really what it comes down to. They've left points on the table. I'm sure they know that. And it's not like egregious bad plays. It's just like little things they could have picked up on to potentially get kills. Like, for instance, the last one had Pat just peeked like 2 seconds earlier. He probably could have cleaned up 3 members of STK. It's just little things like that. But, I mean, Oath is still definitely, I think, still a threat to potentially dethrone Sonics, especially if Sonics has a really bad game. Obviously, STK has made the climb. Oath can definitely make that climb as well.
Yeah, you know, now as we see, Sonics have left Picado working their way to their first position through the zone, rotating very close to Liberate, and Liberate really did not have a good start to the last match. I mean, they lost players early, they lost players in really unfortunate ways. and we're the first team to be fully eliminated. So a bit of a heartbreaking start for them, but you know, like you said last night, just shake it off and give yourself another chance. There's still plenty of opportunities for them to take it, and in that mid-range as well, it's so close on the leaderboard, from Zenith up in 5th place all the way down to Comets, maybe even, you know what, Hardships and Duel, right? 57, 53 points. It's one match apart for all of these teams, as right now Comets are going to get a knock onto Hella, and Fabled will have one knocked in this position. We can see Monty yet again kind of anchored away from the rest of his squad.
Yeah, Hex said he's just trying to get a little bit of damage now. He wants to make it to Hella so he can get that res. I'm curious to see how aggressive Comets is actually going to get on this, because, I mean, if there was any indication last game, maybe they talked about it, aggression was kind of what they lacked, you know, going into that final fight with Sonics that could have made something happen. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't even if they tried something, but I do want to see them potentially try to clean up a kill here. They have a knock. They have the advantage. They even have the high ground. And there's another knock. Yeah, I really want to see Comets pour onto this.
Yeah, before we broke away, Yaxley had just rotated wide with the vehicle, did get a knock onto Hackset. He got the flush as well. Don't know that he quite has the angle on Hella. Nice. He's going to find her in the end, and that's 2 players down for Fabled. As we could see, they were on their way to assist, but they were just too late. And so Greg Shot and Rip are going to turn tails and head back to, it looks like, this warehouse compound. And Greg Shot hitting a little bit of a ditch there.
Hit a ridge. She's going to be able to back up. So the other really fun thing that I enjoy about these Southern Circles is that there's a lot of room to work on foot, and that's my wait a second.
Oh, this is a bit of a risky drive here. I think we saw a seat swap that didn't quite work in his favor, but Pentalel's going to get the knock and flush there. And no, it doesn't. And Civ actually is going to trade that out, but Jazza still had the angle. Civ getting flushed in the ends. And now here comes Alo and the rest of Shoot to Kill as Luke 12 looks for a bit of cover, stops short, and sees what he can do here onto Veritas. Shots out. Hasn't found a knock just yet. Luke down to 38. Jazza.
Oh, I like this.
Very dangerous.
I like the aggression. If he's going to go for the potential nade and peak, both of these players are very low.
Ooh,
that might be
so good.
Oh, it bounced. It was cooked a little too long, but Luke still in a really tough position. I mean, if they want to salvage this, they have to be careful. Multiple members of Veritas are surrounding. Alo doesn't really have an angle yet because of that smoke.
I mean, I think a big factor as well is where Keenan's going to ultimately put down, as we see him
100%.
Rotating for another angle onto this fight. Luke 12 trying to clean up Jazz, who has been an absolute threat right now to Shoot to Kill, who's lost Purdy and Civ so far. Meanwhile, the rest of Veritas is finally caught up, and Sharp Shot going wide as well. And so they're going to have a full angle on Shoot to Kill here, and Luke 12 reading the situation and trying to get out and back into safety.
And it looks like he should make it out of here. Yeah, he's going to make it out. Veritas, though, I like this play coming out of them. I don't know if it was specifically... I don't know if they were really camping STK. I don't think so. I also don't know if they were just grabbing vehicles and they happened to hear the STK coming, but that was a good trap either way. They got 2 kills out of it. I don't think they lost anyone, and that's going to be a nice little net gain for them.
I think a big thing that's going to help them out
as
here
I say
is
that...
I mean, Veritas, I don't think, was aware of Alo's positioning. He was very quiet through all those rotations. Veritas was looking his direction all, and that's going to give a little bit of help here as he's able to get some damage into Veritas, but not find a knock onto this at all. But here comes the throw.
Luke is repositioning for this. He's repositioning to get an angle on this. I love this aggression from these two. And let me tell you, Luke and Alo have done some phenomenal work in the past together. As a duo.
This is kind of what we've been... I think we've been giving Veritas, right, a lot of flack, because for PCS2, they haven't been performing in comparison to their second-place finish for PCS1 in the Grand Finals, as Veritas played as wild card, for those of y'all who do remember and follow along. And so to kind of see them regain some of that confidence, although not able to get the flush, as you said here on the Shoot to Kill, this is great aggression and really great tactics coming out for them. But now... turning their tail back and focusing on getting into the zone safely with 3 men still up.
And here comes the first shift, and that is super south. But it is my favorite South Clover because this is what I was talking about. This is all very maneuverable on foot. You can do a lot of work on foot, a lot of fighting, a lot of really cool ridges and stuff to play around, and this is what I love to see.
Yeah, I mean, I really loving this here from Oath.
Oath coming in now with another rotation of their own. They should be able to come in here on the north side just fine. And the nice thing about the circle as well, even though there's a lot of terrain, you can still have really clean edge control. You don't have to just kind of work everything. In fact, this is probably one of the best circles that you can work on foot.
Speaking of working on foot, they're Wooly getting a...
For Wooly, it's going to be right onto Leda, and here comes the fight. Zenith right on top of the compound that Duel finds themselves in.
Well, really loving this angle now from Zenith here, trying to hold on to the high ground as Duel rotating back in around this. Rez coming out right now for Zenith. He tries to hold on to the kickstart, falls down. Cherry's got beautiful angle here, gets a flush as well. And Duel picking up one so far as they try to take this back, but Mystery is here to save the day. So we think, there we go, regaining just a bit of control, driving around, looking for a different angle, safe from Lampalot, but Wooly getting a knock and flush there onto Roth with the Molotov in hand.
This is such a messy fight. This is such a messy fight between these two teams. Now Leda has to go for the peak, and Lamp is going to be on top of that.
Ooh. Good aggression coming from Duel. I mean, Duel is another team that we have seen perform quite well on Miramar, but had a little bit of a slow start so far to the Grand Finals. Picking up 3 to the name right start will win out this fight for the most part here onto Zenith, who did still send one into safety, and you can see there Alo bleeding out to the zone.
Alo, he went before his time. You know, it's unfortunate, but I didn't really see what happened to Luke. So I wonder if he had stayed to try to get even more aggressive or pick off another team, because I know that Veritas had basically started moving out or rotating in, and so I'm wondering what actually caused Alo to die. Did he not have a vehicle? I don't know.
And looking at this as well, Corsac from Dodge trying to get into the zone. A vehicle of his own, but Carnage has continued to take shots out in this direction. Dodge still looking for that rotation. I'm not sure if Corsac is the scouts. But either way, he's taking quite a bit of damage from Carnage, who hasn't been able to flush the knock here. One more bullet is all it's going to take, and Maji is going to be the one that finds the knock here in the end, as we see Crawfresh looking for the flush, as Raygod gets it.
Carnage is definitely one of those teams that... These guys desperately need points. They've been dying a lot. Honestly, it's mostly been for them in rotations or just dying on the edge. Something that I'm just not sure whether they're rotating too late, whether they don't feel confident going into some of these fights. But Carnage was also always a team that we saw love getting into scraps, whether they won them or not. You know, they were always kind of getting things messy, but it's been actually rather messy for them so far.
And here we go. And speaking of messy, this circle is going to take a hard shift back out away from the south into the center. Hard shifts in a very good location. Once again, Carnage and Duel going to have to turn tails and focus on getting into the zone. Oath as well. And somehow 303 still has 2 members way up to the north in the blue. And so they're going to hurry up and get into the zone. But right now it's this fight between Fabled and Liberates. We see through the barrel of Gua B looking for an opportunity to take a shot.
I like the patience. This is a lot of information that he's gathering. I mean, this Liberate could definitely do something with this if they want to. They know there's at least 1 to 2 in those buildings. Warehouse, they have a clean angle on it. There's nothing in there, so they can take that fight if they want to. But meanwhile, on the south, look at these rotations.
I mean, Dodge following the backside of Lampalot. Why not, right? You know he's on a motorcycle. Use him as a pilot to kind of tell you where the danger is.
Oh, man.
It looks like it wasn't quite enough here as Danny G gets knocked and flushed by Free Me Please Illusion. The opposite of where we see them. Usually Illusion is a team that's out to the north, but right now sitting in a great position to the south. And Cherry getting a little bit too close to danger as Crop gets the knock. Should pick up the flush here in just a moment. And unfortunately for Dodge, really struggling on this rotation. We see Finna kind of the last hope here.
Yeah, Crop was able to get something. Finna there as well, but Duel again struggling. It's these rotations. I think it's the decision making, the timing on all this. That's really what's been killing Duel, honestly, this entire time. I think over the last 2 PCSs, as we see Victor taking some shots at Oath, Duel just, I don't know, man. They have so much ability. I feel like we sound like broken records saying this. They have so much capability. They have so much talent. They have so much fragging power. Yet it's just everything seems to fall apart. Just getting in and surviving past like circle 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that something is not quite working with some of their decision making. That said, they have continued to try their hardest, but as you said, something, for whatever reason, is not working on paper. This is a team that is fully capable. A lot of seasoned talent for sure, but unfortunately for them, still a bit of a struggle. And now as we see the last of Carnage Gaming is going to work on their way to find a better position, driving in between Illusion, who's got a split here, straight towards Adam and Icy Flex. It looks like might be able to get through this safely, but they're going to take themselves right into dodge.
Where are they going?
I don't even know. But Adam is going to make sure that Crawfresh doesn't get much farther, as Draygod, who tried to go a bit wide to avoid Illusion, is going to get spotted out by Dodge. Well, a little bit of help from Houston. Hardshifts is going to get a knock onto Reno, and that's going to turn their attention back up to the north, allowing these fights down to the south continue. We see Finna still not letting up yet onto Illusion.
Dodge and Illusion are doing such a good job of just shutting down this southern road. I mean, they're obviously not doing it intentionally or cooperating, but they really are. Just look at that. The way that Illusion has it set up, and then that final roadblock from Dodge is just devastating to any team that's trying to rotate in the south.
And this is what we want to see from Illusion, right? This is a very Miramar successful team. This is the map that we really see them pull out the most of their cards on from. And so right now, Free Me Please getting the knock and flush on Crawfish as we see into the kill feed. While the rest of Carnage is trying to take out Lampalot. Will spot a mirror. Nice nade from Maji. Cleans house quite literally. And Duel, our first team eliminated here in match number 2.
It was a really nice nade actually coming out, but still, you know, Carnage is split and they just lost one of their members, 2 of their members, so there's just going to be a duo now left for Carnage. This is Ray and Maji, who took over the position of Lampalot in that 2-story off to the west.
Oh, look at Icy Flex's angle on this.
Yeah, he wants the flush. I don't know if he's going to get it in time, though. He is. Very nice.
There you go. I mean, you don't want to give away your knock to somebody else, and oftentimes that's where we see a lot of kills kind of happen for some of these teams, right? We will talk about players that did a lot of damage, players that did a lot of knocks, but the points aren't on the board for the team. So that said, ATC right now aggressively coming out into play onto Oath as Pat Caps is found by Aguila. Knock in hand, flush, there it is.
And here comes the rest of Oath. I'm curious if they're actually going to go for the crash on ATC or just move past. Pat was the only kind of link into the circle for them, and now they're just driving into so much fire.
Loving this position for Hardships. They still have the high grounds. I see bullets coming out onto Oath. No true knocks on them from that position, but the pressure is going to help out ATCs. We see Oath get pushed further south. Meanwhile, back off to the west, 303 still playing the edge as they try to work their way into Veritas.
Yeah, now we move on to Comets and Liberate fighting on this very open east side of the circle. There's pretty much just an open field in Monty.
Oh, you love to see it here. Great opening knock, as said there from Comets, as Liberate down to just simply Matt, but ooh. Fabled had sight on this from afar. They are eliminated, and we can already see Hardships third-parting this as well as Victor is knocked and flushed. Meanwhile, back again to the west. 303 continuing this push onto Veritas as Honey Badger is going to get a knock onto Jazza. Veritas still with 2 up. We can see on the minimap how busy it is in this area. Lots of teams with eyes on the edge here, but Honey Badger looking for another knock.
This is 303's opportunity to show us how good they are on the edge. I mean, if there was a time, it's now going up against Veritas.
Ooh.
They've got to make something happen here. They have 4 up.
Good wrap here from Sharpshot as he finds another angle. Gets the knock onto Honey Badger as Landoon has been taken down by Carnage, who's further downhill. That's 2 players down now for 303. Just D-Rich and Voxic still standing. An opportunity to maybe get a res. They can pick up this fight quickly, but now another nade from Sharpshot should land very close to where Voxic is. Might be enough to get the flush onto Honey Badger. Let me see this edge get busier and busier. Zregat and Maji with a strong push now into D-Rich.
The opportunists out of Carnage, I love this. They recognized it. They got the knock. They heard the fight between Veritas and 303, and they've cleaned up half of 303 now. Very well done.
But look at the minimap. Radiance is coming to investigate as they push in from the north. This fight needing to pick up as quickly as possible. Honey Badger and Voxic still without a kill yet on the board, but Voxic pushing through the smoke, walking right past a member of Veritas, looking to find another flush, but falling short. 303 eliminated, but now look at this. Radiance has rotated in the backside of this, and Gaxi getting a flush onto Zregod, stealing the kill from Veritas. The circle has shifted. Hardships still in the center yet again, but as all these teams fighting out to the west, this will make this a little bit difficult now as Gaxi does get knocked.
This has been a very bloody West Side, Clover. A very bloody West Side, and I gotta hand it to Veritas. Although they're bleeding and they're very hurt, they've fought multiple teams and held this edge so far. I mean, STK and Hardships are just going to be right above them, but Veritas is doing whatever they can to keep this, and they're doing a fantastic job of kind of keep holding this together. I mean, it's just with duct tape, but it's holding together.
We see as well, Shoot to Kill now is coming to investigate, and this might be a little bit enough to help Veritas stay alive. If they can stay alive, like you said, we should see their damage on the top 5, no doubt, but Maji looking for an angle onto this. We see Keenan actually getting him down. That's it for Carnage. They are going to go out, but it is Los that picks that up in the end for Radiant. You see Luke 12 off in the distance. The West continues to be busy, and Veritas caught out now by McCoy with a beautiful wrap. He's got a great angle on this fight.
Keenan and Sharp needs to just get out. Jazz is dead. There's no saving him. I think that's exactly what's happening. Sharp, though, I mean, he doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's trying to disengage, but this little channel that he's in, I mean, eventually Los is going to figure it out. Can he win the duel?
Oh, Los spots him out. Will get the knock. One player left. It's Keenan who sent it already into the zone. 3 kills now to their name.
Ooh, an Oath.
Oh.
Just eliminated Comets.
On the other side of the map, Oath takes out Comets. And once again, now as Phase 5 comes to a close, we can just see how many teams right now are on top of one another, trying to play, I mean, quite literally, at this point, we are king of the hill, king of the mountain.
Yeah.
As the high ground still belonging to Houston in this zone.
And this is very classic Illusion, what we're watching from these guys right now. Wait till the end, you know, control their zone, where they're at, and then start to push in. This is exactly what we're used to seeing them, especially on Miramar.
Continuing the pressure right now onto Dodge. So it looks like Reno might have been spotted by Adam. Still, though, we can see Keenan not too far from this fight, but Houston, if they can find an angle onto this fight, Chuba is starting to creep the edge, looking for some kind of information, but all the noise is hearing down below. Top Dog actually is going to get a knock onto Finna. Icy Flex pushes for it, looks for that flush. And all that's left now is Reno in the distance. There we go. Icy Flex spots him out here. Good aggression from Illusion as they try to take this back.
Yeah, beautiful nades, beautiful patience. The way they approached that defilade, cleared it out. Still have to clear out Reno, but here comes Radiance as well. They're going to get a res here on McCoy. And although they're on the very edge on the west, you know, they have a lot of room to work with. I really like this position as long as they can clear out the team ahead of them. Radiance is they could be in a good spot here.
I mean, really what we're seeing right now is the resurgence of our Miramar teams. Radiance looking confident with 5 kills. Illusion looking confident with quite a lot of kills. Hardships in a phenomenal location doing lots and lots of damage. And even Oath, right? This is a team that we've seen really perform well. And so to see these be our 9 teams still up through the end of the match, it's going to make it difficult to, I think, really when we get that Phase 7 and Phase 8 shift, to say who might have the strengths here, but right now Oath working themselves onto a res as ATC's Marcelic looking for an angle to try and finish out Oath.
Yeah, and I thought Oath initially had Pat as an anchor, but I think it was Baylor, someone else that was further in the circle. So even though they lost Pat, they've been doing a lot of work, a lot of positive work for themselves here and clearing out other teams, one of which was Comets, and they're still staying alive, but ATC is starting to pressure them.
Ooh, Snakers falls down as well as Balefrost, as Norcus's nade did quite a bit of damage. Marcelic getting the knock onto Snakers, and so if Relo can get this res here onto Bale, he needs to act quickly. Phase 6 is closing in, and they're just outside of the zone, so that blue is going to prove itself quite deadly if ATC can't clear this out. Meanwhile, Houston Hardships continuing to hold on to the high ground as Radiance try to push in at the wrong angle. They've got 3 players down. All that's left up is Gaxi.
I'll be completely honest, I really thought Radiance was actually just going to push on the high ground and fight in that area where there was a little more cover, but they decided to wrap low, and Hardships was ready for that.
And Keenan was found as well from Illusion to the south. Veritas falls at the same time, and in a blink of an eye now down to 6 teams, 18 players still up. ATC, who did lose one very early on, remember Melon died right at the beginning drop, and so ATC's managed to pull out quite a bit with only 3 players still standing. But Oath as well. I mean, Balefrost, who was able to get res, now losing Relo. ATC's focus right now needs to be Oath and clearing this out, but Sonics, I mean, they've been kind of quiet. Yeah,
to be completely honest, I really haven't seen much in the kill feed from them either, and that's honestly just because they've just been in such a good position most of this map, and that's what you and I and the analysts always talk about, is that's the trade, right? You have one of the best positions in the circle, not really going to get a lot of action though.
I think we oftentimes talk about the compound curse, and definitely something that they are suffering from. But speaking of suffering, Balefrost right now chunking in the blue, 10 seconds until that closes, and there you have it. Oath eliminated into 6th place.
Oh.
And immediately, here we go. Houston turning their attention up to ATC as a nade comes out, does a lot of bit of damage to Norcus onto this. Looks like Lobes had an angle. And just as Norcus finished healing quite a bit more, as we take a look at the overhead view of the map, where the circle has shifted, ATC losing 2 onto this, and there you have it. Eliminated.
Hard shifts, man.
This is the hard shifts I wanted to see.
Oh yeah, this is that hard shifts, and what an incredible cleanup on not only Radiance but now also ATC. However, Sonics, they're still in the circle. I'm curious to see when they're going to start pushing out and really try to take control of this zone, because right now that's all hard shifts.
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
being
and
active
Zenith as well
and they're all
still
over the
has
place.
Mystery alive. It looks like hanging on the edge, playing the snaky game. I thought we were down to 3 teams, but no, Zenith. Hanging on by a thread, and we see 6 kills here to Illusion. Top Dog, free me, please. And Icy Flex all with 2 each. And there you go. Off in the distance, you can see Mystery just on the edge of zone, but now Mime sending it just ahead, trying to get some information to Hardshifts, who've actually rotated all the way kind of down towards the south. I think right now their biggest concern is what's going on with Illusion, who they've continued to see into the kill feed. But that quiet, as we kind of talked about, Sonic sitting in the compound is going to give them that ability to push out, I think, unnoticed so far by some of these guys, and they need to be careful.
And they found Mystery. Oh, Adam getting shot in the back, actually, from Hardships up top. And I find it interesting, and also really like Illusion and Sonics have both sent someone up towards the mountain. Unfortunately for Illusion, Top Dog very low, but he has a knock on Chubba. And then it's Mystery that actually knocks Top Dog all the way back.
Mystery now looks like has been spotted out as he's going to take a little bit of damage. Not sure if that was Illusion who spotted him. Now Icy Flex does get some very low.
That's got to be frustrating.
We can see the blue zone. I mean, there's nowhere for Mystery to go as the zone closes in. Icy Flex waiting for that vault, but there you have it. The blue's going to chunk that out, and Zenith falls. Our top 3 teams now, Illusion, Sonics, and Harshness. But look, Mime sent it early as well as Shrimsy, and closing in on Lobes here.
Top Dog has to be so frustrated because he had such a good angle just to be shot in the back by a solo and then die to his own molly. I feel for you, Top. That's rough. That's super rough because he made a good play. He got a knock. He was ready. And then, yeah, I mean, Mystery was just able to find a window to peek out of, take him. And now really it's up to Sonics to take over this game if they really want to spread out as they have. They've moved out the compound, and now it's going to be tough for Hardshifts, especially if Sonics wraps. But then that's also going to give Illusion a lot of time to recognize a fight if there is one between those 2 teams, and they could potentially third party. This is going to be a really awesome ending.
I mean, this circle shift is great for Illusion in that they really don't have too much to move to hold this angle. If Icy Flex can keep that anchor out there to the side of zone, which should be able to give him a good vantage point onto Sonics, but at the same time, that downhill disadvantage could hurt them in the end. Hardships, of course, rotating back around for the high ground as you see Lobes continue to put the pressure here onto Sonics.
And let me tell you, this really is going to come down to who third parties. Which team gets in the fight first, who gets the initial knocks. It looks like Houston is trying to, take the initiative here and get some knocks on Sonics, but whoever's going to third party, this is really going to come out quite well, depending on how the fight goes.
Yeah, I mean, the circle's going to push right into the middle of where all 3 of these teams are. And so as you saw Lobes take a couple shots on the Sonics, now quietly rotating back down the hill, looking for an angle, making sure that there's nobody waiting for him just at the crest of the hill. And we can see...
Look at Icy Flex.
I mean, I really like this formation from Houston right now. Ooh,
nice from
knock.
Lobes. Icy Flex. And this may not even be a third-party situation. All 3 of these teams may just fight at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Chubba knocked and flushed as well by Illusion, and so both Hardships and Illusion are going to pick one up onto this for Sonics. As we can see, still, Hardships, this is the difficult position, right? They're in the better spot for the zone. You don't want to go down the hill and allow Sonics to overtake you, but at the same time, as the blue zone closes, you've got to take care of it, like you said, because this is going to come down to third party.
That's what I think is going to happen, but at the same time, these guys may not fight until they get pushed in to the center, which means that it's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be really wild.
God, this rap from Free Me Please.
Sonics has the center though.
It's right on the edge of zone. Blue's closing in, and he's going to be very exposed the moment that he peeks. If Win just turns around and takes a look onto this as we see Sonics creep ever closer to the center of the zone. And there you go, more smokes out aplenty, making sure, as we kind of saw earlier, not get shot in the back, but Win gets a little bit of sight onto Lobes, getting him down to half health. One more nade is out, but utility is starting to run thin for all of these squads.
They need to be careful, otherwise they're going to get sandwiched here because they are the center. I mean, it's so hard for them to make a push too. They're in a rough spot. They're in the best spot, but it's also potentially the roughest spot.
Ooh, and
Nice
good
shots.
shooting coming out from Maluk. Icy Flex falls out, but Adam, trades it there. Maluk falls down as well. Sonics managed to get themselves back 4 strong. And this could prove an advantage for them if they choose the right moment to strike. Houston down to just 2 on feet.
Oh, takedown. Lobes is going to find that one as well. This is such a crazy ending, Clover. It's getting closer and closer to center.
I mean, the amount of reses that we've seen from this match alone between these three squads. This is Miramar at its finest by Miramar's finest here as Sonics continuing to hold the hill. The push for Illusion is coming any moment now as Adam and Free Me Please. Cresting up over it, Shrimsy spotting Free Me Please, tries to get the knock. Adam gets him down to 80, but Adam low himself.
Beautiful.
Meanwhile, that is it. Illusion taken out, and now Sonics can turn their attention to hard shifts as Mime and H1 actually managed to rotate above them, retaking the high ground onto here. Only Lobes is still standing, finds a knock on to win.
Oh!
Oh!
Woo!
So close. So there you have it. Sonics in the end, albeit a little bit conservative at the start, take the victory here.